Hi, and welcome to Crypto Crazy. I'm Cal, and today I'm going to talk to you about a new coin recently listed. And as you can see from the screen, it's called Polkamarkets. Now, just before I carry on, these are the type of videos that I do bring you. If you find them interesting, please do subscribe. Please do give me a like. It does help a small channel like mine. So without further ado, let's get started. So as you'll be able to see from down here, it was only listed a few days ago, and it hasn't, as you can see from the price, shot up. It's gone up slightly, but that's because the markets are not overall doing great at the moment. You'll be able to buy it on Uniswap, and in terms of the market cap, it's at 32, and I think it's got a long way in terms of what it will be able to get to, and I'll tell you the reason why. So what I'll start off with is just talking about a bit about what the coin does, what poker markets are trying to achieve, and then I'll go into a bit about the token economics as well, and general thoughts about it. So as you can see here, it's about prediction markets, and prediction markets is just another word for pretty much betting markets, and that doesn't necessarily need to be only sports. It can be anything, as it says here, real world events. Now, there are betting markets out there even for stocks, shares, assets as well. Like they said, real life events, who will win the next elections and so on. So it does have a really wide scope. So if we just go through it and just talk about what it does, and like I mentioned here, they work on these prediction markets, but then also they will be in providing liquidity and farming as well. Now, if you don't know much about that, providing liquidity is very much when you are buying coins, buying pairs, you can then deposit those within a platform which then provides liquidity for those pairs, and farming allows you to yield returns even more so by staking those coins as well. Now, Poker Markets believes that the problem at the moment is that there isn't sufficient liquidity within prediction markets, within betting markets. Now, in the real world, we've seen betting markets really take off, but not so much within the cryptocurrency world. Now, there will certainly be markets in which people can speculate, but that's done usually with financial organizations, with banks as well. So what they believe is there's low liquidity and therefore low fees as well. And the solution that they're looking to provide here is really much, at the end of the day, engagement. So they're here talking about it being an entertainment DeFi platform as well. So not only can you speculate in these markets, you'll be able to watch live feeds of these events as well. So not only are you betting, you're engaged, you're watching it, you can speculate as you're watching it, whatever it may be, and that can be sports and esports as well. So as it mentions here, live odds. Now, this is something that I think is really taken off in the world overall. I think these markets, as you may have seen, or if you research, have grown tremendously, especially around sports, and with esports growing as well. I think that is something which actually is quite a good idea. Now, I've had a look at the team. These are guys who, and you can click on their LinkedIn, you can go in further into their details. But these are guys who do have a history within cryptocurrency. They're not new to this world, and they certainly have a good understanding. And here you can see as well, it's several ventures have been launched by Ricardo Marquez, and he has over a decade of experience in developing and software engineering. Now, that doesn't always necessarily mean they do a great job. I myself have looked into projects years ago where the CEOs, where the founders do have a plethora of experience. It doesn't always translate into a successful project. So it has to be more than that. It has to be a good idea, a good team, but then also a good execution as well. So this is the team at the moment. It's a fairly small team, and they're looking to expand it. So now that you know what they're all about, let me just take you over to what a few more details really. So I've spoken about the vision as well. Here we have the product. So it's a DeFi API, liquidity provided in the markets, asset forecasts as well. By that they mean what the prediction of those markets will be for those assets, and information exchange as well. And that's very much about it being a community, to be able to interact with others, to be able to provide commentary as well within that. So again, they're talking about it being an entertainment platform as well. And here, very much like I mentioned, the feature, so entertainment value, it is providing rewards as well. An open and liquid market is what they hope it to be. And user-based fee economy, so it will be very much good level of fees to use the platform. They will eventually have a governance token as well, and curated events list. So what people want to watch, and there is sufficient liquidity within there, then that would be something that is included within their platform. So let's just have a look at their roadmap. So it looks like in the first quarter of this year, they very much want to have a look at crypto futures markets as well, which I think is great. It's certainly something which is growing. Many years ago, let's say, what was it, 2017 is when the first futures markets really opened for Bitcoin. And since then, it's gone from strength to strength, and there certainly are more derivatives. And it's very much like stock market. There seems to be more derivative. The derivative markets are always larger than they are in terms of the asset markets, because they give you much more flexibility in the way in which you can speculate on the increase of prices. So they've also got the esports, as I mentioned, and they've got a number of other features there as well, which they want to include for quarter one, quarter two. They have a number of things here. I think that the most important parts are the fact that they actually will allow you to have live streams as well. Quarter three, they've got the governance model as well, liquidity provision 2.0, and then quarter four cross-chain and a stable coin as well. So that just means that when you are liquidating your positions, you can put it into a stable coin and it will work with other chains as well. So an exciting year certainly for this coin. Now, very quickly, just looking into their questions as well, it tells you what Polkadot is, what the use cases are. I've covered these already. How Polkadot markets exist are different from existing prediction markets, and that's very much about the entertainment value. It tells you here who can use it, use an Ethereum and Polkadot, and the utility of it as well. And like I mentioned, it's got the prediction markets, mining, direct fees, yield farming as well for rewards, and they're going to make it gamifications as well. And they talk about NFTs and non-fungible tokens as well. So that just allows you to unlock these tokens, which will be rare, which will be unique, and which will have some value as well. So overall, I think it's a great project. I think that what they're trying to do is really, really good. Now, it is very new, so there's always a risk in terms of investment. But I think it's one of those coins which certainly I think is one from my research, which I think will be doing some good things, and they've got a good timeline ahead of them as well. And I think this is always impressive as well. I always notice this in terms of how many people have this on their watch lists, and generally new coins are on a few hundred, sometimes even less than 100. But to be on 2,500 people's watch list, I think is very impressive. So one to look out for, Polkamarkets. Like I mentioned, if you do want to get into it, you can. I think the big exchange at the moment is the Uniswap one, and I certainly would recommend keeping an eye on it, even if you're not looking to invest at the moment, considering what the markets are doing. One thing I think is always worth noting as well, even when there is a downturn in markets, and it might be a little bit different in the cryptocurrency world, but good projects do tend to continue to go up. And I think this is one that certainly will do. And the volume here definitely does speak to that. I think one thing worth noting as well is just in terms of the circulating supply, a lot of coins nowadays do have less circulating supply. I think years ago it used to be much higher, and in actual fact it would be very unusual for it to even be as low as 50%. Nowadays I found it to be much lower. That's, I think, generally the founders, the creators, keeping hold of much more, especially when they need it for rewarding individuals as well, when they need it for yield farming and staking and liquidity providing as well. But just one thing to note is I don't think that will highly dilute the positions, but just something to note as well. So that's Polkamarkets. Again, a great project. Polk, you can find it on Uniswap. I think it's going to be doing great things. Any questions that you have about this, please do drop it in the comments. Like I said, do give me a like if you've enjoyed this, if you found it informative, and do subscribe as well. I've been Cal. This is Crypto Crazy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.